And recycling is one of those things. We're a rural area, and we've got this, it's over in South Coatesville, Buddy mentioned it, okay? We've got the mulching, okay? Well, if you decompose the mulch, okay, it produces methane. Methane is natural gas, okay? So we've got more leaves. Our trees, okay, our geography here produces a crop every year that can turn a lot of money for this township, okay? And we've got major power transmission lines, and you can tie into that. And the laws, the public utility laws, are such that you can sell the money, the power, okay, that we generate, or the gas, the methane, to PICO. Now, you've got to be careful. Harrisburg is an example of, oh, hey, we'll do a garbage incinerator that'll produce, and it took Harrisburg down. Now, a lot of things took Harrisburg down. They just decided to blame it on the incinerator. But the short version is we're going to have to figure out how to generate revenue. And we've got, the township has land, and I haven't looked at all of it, but that land is, okay, and so we can put that to work, okay, and offset our costs so that we can maintain services or keep the tax base, the tax level at where the millage, at where it is, okay? And the other thing that we need to do, in my opinion, I grew up in the Northwest, okay? And the Northwest, your job as a kid was to become as independent as you could become and not kill yourself in the process as early as you possibly could, okay? And from an American history, we've always been self-sufficient and okay, well, we've sort of lost that with the urbanization and just natural, I think, evolution of a society. We're going to have to re-encourage that, okay? Because if we successfully engage the talent in this township, we have the resources to do what everybody wants done. It's going to take everybody help doing their part. And encouraging everyone to be as self-sufficient as they can be, and recycling and doing the smart things that make it easier and cheaper, okay, and get it all done. And that builds a tremendous sense of community, okay? And so we've got the natural resources here. We've just sort of been asleep at the switch and doing things a different way. And reality, economic reality, is going to force us to wake up, or not, okay, and cooperate and graduate, or not, okay? And I think we can all agree that cooperating and graduating and waking up and be a little innovative and getting everybody to be self-sufficient as they can be, okay, then we can make everything work within the resources available to us. Did I cover all the bases?
Yeah, I think you answered about the township manager earlier, but could you just summarize it real quick again, so everybody has an answer on it?
If you look at all the other townships, okay, and I haven't been to every one, but okay, most of the better townships, better, the more functional townships have a township manager. And the reason for that is they've got somebody that's there every day, okay, knows the rules, knows the people, knows all the pieces, and makes that happen. And he or she pre-packages everything for you folks so that you can come in and then do your quick study and go through the stack and go, we got it, and you know what the law is, what the municipal code says, and yada, yada, yada. And it just makes everything it makes your job much easier. Now, I think we're about 400,000 in the hole. I haven't looked at the budget in the last.
We have a balanced budget at this point.
I know, but what's our total debt? I know fiscally we might be balanced at the moment. What is our outstanding debt?
We don't have.
So we're zero? Okay, all right. So, and I should have done my homework before I got here. Somebody told me that we were back at 400,000 in the hole. So anyway.
Well, if you take projects that haven't been completed, like Mortonville Road, then I guess, we're.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
Right there.
because if you're pushing everything further to the right so that, yeah, we're balanced, okay? Well, we've been doing that in America for the last 40 years, okay? And we're at the tipping point, okay? And you folks are gonna we're all gonna live through it, okay? And so we gotta quit shuffling stuff right, okay? We gotta roll up our sleeves. I think a number of people have said, we've got a ton of talent in this township, okay? What we need is a leadership team that can engage that talent and let that talent do what it can do. And so that's what a leader does, is, hey, I don't know everything, but boy, this person over here knows something about that, and yada, yada. Okay, and you get that talent working for the township. That's what we need, whether it's the township manager or whether it's the board.
But how do you do that? Like, I mean, with the resources we have, Wes, you made mention of the other, just the land that the township owns and things of that nature. I agree with your idea. I just, my question, I guess, or the struggle we have is, how do you do that? How do you implement that?
Grants.
But how do
Now, the state's hurting, okay, and the Fed isn't in any better shape, all right? But the squeaky wheel gets the grease, okay? Not everybody's gonna get a grant, but the folks that are paying attention and thinking about that and working to make it happen, you're gonna get the grease, okay? And so our job is to make sure we get the grease, okay? And there's a million ways to go do that, okay? And without taking huge risks or doing dumb stuff.
Aside from getting a grant writer, how do you do that? I mean, we know grant writers, we have that capability already.
Okay, a perfect example is we can turn the South Coatesville mulching thing, okay, into a power generation system, okay, and we can sell, okay, the power to Pico. And we can sell the natural gas to Pico, all right? Now, there's things that, and you get the money to get that equipment in place, okay, through grants, and the utilities, okay, are looking for, because the state of Pennsylvania has got the most coal power plants on this continent, okay? And they're all got to be shut down, or they got to be transitioned to gas. Most of them are going to be shut down. The thing that's going to the economy of the future in terms of utilities is micro plants. We're going from massive and centralized to totally decentralized and independent. So we need to be on the leading edge of that because we can make money from that. Okay, it's a revenue stream. Okay, and the banks will capitalize that. All right, and investors will capitalize that, assuming you've got a plan. But you got to get a plan in place, and that takes time. But all of these things are doable. I'm taking up everybody's time. I could go on for quite a while, but there are a number of options available to us. Okay, that with just a little bit of homework and initiative, that we can turn things around significantly. And in my mind, the number one thing is the relationship between the township and individuals and its government. Right now, based on my experience, okay, that relationship is broken, okay? And we can fix it, okay? And when we get people helping instead of fighting, then that, and they start, you know, I don't know everything, but I know how to ask questions, okay? And there's lots of folks that have lived around here forever and know more people than I know. So, you know, you go, hey buddy, who knows something about this? And it'll take him about a nanosecond. And there are 30 buddies or 50 buddies in our township. Understand?
Wes, one quick question on something you said about recyclables. Are you referring, as far as money off of recyclables, more like what West Bradford does and how it is able to achieve making funds off of recyclables with grants and things like that? Is that
I'm
what
not
you're
familiar with West Bradford specifically, okay? But plastics and aluminum, okay? Now, steel's gonna be dead for a while, okay? Look at the scrap piles down in Arrow. The shredded piles are full. That's because they're not producing, so they shredded everything that come in, and the truck's going down there. So plastics and steel, and then we're recycling our leaves and the tree branches, okay? And that's mulch, okay? That's fertilizer. You got the nitrogen problem with the Chesapeake Bay, so every farmer's going, okay, now what? Well, if you use mulch instead of nitrogen from Monsanto or whoever you buy it from, okay, that mulch is a balanced fertilizer, and you don't end up with it's a revenue stream. Now, we've got weavers are primed for that, okay, and weavers help out with the South Coat Seal thing. But we've got tons of leaves, okay? Those leaves are feedstock for natural gas, okay? They're feedstock for fertilizer, okay? And we're paying people to throw them away. No, use them, okay? And go back to the German heritage, you know, this is, okay? You ought to see Germany, and you know, they go out and they have a day where they rake their forests, and they have manicured forests. And we've got machines and robots, and we can go, the robots will harvest it. In other words, we have resources that we're currently throwing away. One of the smartest guys I know was about 4'9", a Norwegian chemical engineer. And he was a chemical engineer for DuPont back when DuPont was the leading the world and everything. And in 1947, DuPont gave him $1 million check. In 1947, because he showed them how they were throwing away $10 million a year, okay, in their production processes. So we just have to do the same thing here.
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you. Mr. Agatone? Same three questions to you about supporting the recycling for, with the other townships around us?
Some very good ideas, Wes, by the way. I actually agree that we do need to be working with a number of the surrounding counties, and there is areas for us from a revenue generation perspective. There's opportunities that existed. That's been done at a number of different counties and states around the country. From a processing, reprocessing, shipping, whatever. I mean, it can be done here, it can be researched, but there's a lot of concerns with it. There's EPA concerns, there's citizen concerns, so it's an avenue to pursue and to research and, you know, to see, you know, where can actually go from there, but I agree with the concept of it.
Your thoughts on the township manager?
Well, that's kind of a shot for me, so to be honest with you. So coming from the planning commission, it was probably our number one item to support the township manager, if you will. We proposed it to the board. It was an area that we believed that you all are, you know, everybody on, you know, up here works, and they have full-time commitments and concerns. a township manager would be dedicated to this township full-time. He would report to the board, and you would set directive and, you know, what he would actually work on, he or she, sorry. And it, you know, it just depends on whatever the direction is. So based on whatever the citizens believe from a voting perspective, who put you up here, and what from a, you know, and I believe that we need more communication with the people in this township. If we can determine that direction and get the best use of that township manager, then I would, you know, it's for it. Right now, we've made the choice, you guys made the choice to not go with that, and that's perfectly fine. I think it's an option. So I know we have the capability within the township from a grant perspective. And it's something that needs to be researched more as far as actually utilizing that. So, I mean, case in point, I'm directly affected by the road closure, if you will, because it's right at the bottom of the, where I live. So I'd love for that road to be opened again. I don't like the way it's currently being used from bikers and hikers, things along those lines. It is eroding every day. Another piece of the road fell down just this past couple of weeks when I was back there. And it's not gonna stop, unfortunately, so not to get on a rant about that.
And then,
Is there any surrounding municipalities that you see something that you admire, possibly for East Fallowfield, or would want here as a service, or an idea, or something that you witness?
Well, one of the concerns that we've actually been discussing on the Planning Commission board is we believe there needs to be a greater communication with the citizens. So there are some people in this township who do not have computers. There are some people who only can have the ability to receive paper. Albeit it may actually be a smaller number of people, but their vote is just as important as the person who has the highest speed connection in this township. And some of those people may actually have, you know, a great, you know, I'm not saying a greater stake, but some of the older citizens have more property, have larger swaths of land, may actually have a greater concern if things take a certain direction. So to me, one of the greatest failures this township actually has is a lack of communication directly with the citizens. We used to have a township letter that went out somewhat frequently many years ago, and that's been kind of pulled back, if you will. Facebook works, but not everybody checks it. Some things have actually been put out there that don't 100% match with the website. So I've had people come to me and ask me, saying, you know, which one is the official voice of the township? Is it the Facebook? Is it the Facebook page? Is it the web page? So a single point of communication, if you will, and, you know, maybe actually, you know, pursue us a little bit further along the road.
Great.
Thank you.
he's not on the list, but he did put his name in today, Andrew Marble. Here. Come on up. He did submit his resume earlier today. Went through all the very same questions, but why did you want to put your name in?
You guys asked for some help, and I'm willing to give some help. And I have those skills that I think could be beneficial to you and to the township, and it's where I live, so I care about it.
Any concern with the number of meetings in a month or anything like that? With being able to make them?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty active outside of working. Also, I'm involved in sporting down in Callan and helping the high school with the kid wrestling. So I'm active, but I can fit this in. This is a priority.
What do you see as the biggest issue facing the township right now, and how would you solve it?
I think the biggest thing is the budget, but not this year's budget. It's the going forward budget, and where we best can put what assets we have to improving, one, the roads, the police, the fire, all those things that go into the budget. And also, I think the other thing is, we talk about communication, the transparency, making sure that everybody feels that, A, their vote means something and that their opinion means something. Not that everybody's going to be happy with the end result, but at least they got their voice out there and they felt heard.
What are your thoughts about a fire tax?
If everybody votes on it, again, there'd be that transparency, that I'm okay with that. You know, we're all speaking about what we want, not what an individual or a subset or whatever wants. It's what we all want.
And how do you feel about infrastructure, road improvement plans, and how to better improve our roads?
Well, that kind of hits where I live. I work in construction. I have a pretty good understanding of what it takes to fix roads, to make roads. Not so much, I'm not a road guy, but, concrete excavation, those things. I've done that and do that now, so I think I could help in that respect, and feel that it would be, I could help out that way, that's my point.
Your thoughts about a township manager?
Since we don't have the money and it was put down, I think there's a good reason to have that person. There's a buffer or a head point person for all the chief to talk to, for TAG to talk to get all that information, then to present it to you. That buffer zone, I've found when we've done contracts and stuff like that, it's nice to have that person who can present everything to you, takes it from them, and keeps the chain of communication, and also acts as a liaison, so nobody gets bogged down in any personal issues. It's this person's presenting the facts only.
Working with the other townships as far as recycling goes, that was a question.
Everybody's gotta work together. We're all in the same boat, we're all coming up short on money. Whatever we can do to work together is what we have to do. So I'm for that.
You have any grant writing experience?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But
Worth a shot.
that outside the box, if that's an avenue that we can go down and get money from that to supplement the shortfall of income, then we have to do it, whatever we can explain.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, I wish that we had somebody that did. We certainly, I agree with a lot of what has been said tonight by you, Andy, by all the candidates. Really, we do have a lot of talent here. I mean, even, in my opinion, township manager, I think is sitting right there already. I think we already have that person who could be our township manager. And I think trying to bring everything together, like really, what I'm looking for is one person who kind of can bring all that together. Obviously, the grant writing has come up, but I mean, I like what you say, Andy, about it looks like a lot of your experience. You've been a manager for what, 27 years, 26 years.
26 years, yeah.
Okay. Just give me like can you relate maybe an experience in your current field to something similar to what we deal with at the township level, as far as management? Maybe not necessarily, I don't know, you manage the budget at all?
I price my jobs,
Okay.
so I'm involved in, going out and getting estimates from suppliers. I'm also involved in how many man-hours it takes to get that job done, how much material, execution, forethought of what might come down the road as far as, like the Creek Road situation with the eroding road. There's so many different things there, and it kind of looks like a humongous issue, but one piece at a time, one road at a time, one piece. You can put that plan together to fix that.
Right.
And that's kind of what we do in our small company. We all bounce ideas off each other, come up with the best plan and go forward.
I like that. I mean, and the thing, since you mentioned Mortonville Road, I mean, we're looking some of the options which have been, thrown out there. Even if we were to get a grant for that, say it cost $1 million to fix. I'm just throwing a number out there because that's a decent estimate, I would say.
Sure.
Although from what we understand, probably it's going to be more than that. If we got a grant for, say $450,000, we would have to match that grant also. But we don't have $450,000 to do that right now.
Right.
So, obviously the budget and coming up with that money, even to be able to do that, but at the same time, having somebody be able to get us approved for that amount of money, even if we're approved, we're still short-handed $500,000 to go forward with that.
Right.
And that does affect all of us, especially Mr. Agaton the most, who lives right there.
Right there.
So,
So anyway, the grant, when you ask, do you have experience writing grants? No, I don't. But after write the first one, or the second one, no, I've got experience. You work your way through it. You gotta figure it out, just like anything else. You didn't have any experience at the job you took the first time you worked, but you worked into that. It's
I
a
agree.
growing process. So if that had to be an avenue to be researched, then you have to do it.
I agree, and I think experience is good, but I think it can be overrated. I think that, if you give somebody a shot, that, to me, somebody that brings determination, brings the will to succeed, the will to win, can outnumber experience, can trump experience.
At times, yeah, at times.
So,
Andy, based upon the experience that you've provided the board, is there anything that you've witnessed as you've driven around in the township as far as our roads, and you like a particular way a road was done, or have you looked at something and said, wait, that could have been done differently? Is there anything that you've seen?
Some of our storm water runoff, I look at and I wonder why it's done that way, could it be done differently? Those kind of things I do look at, because, you know, that's up my alley, and I look, man, we could do that differently.
Okay.
The road crew does work very hard, and I can't speak to any deficiency or anything like that. The big storm, I don't think anybody was ready for that. Most municipalities across the area weren't. We will figure those things out, or you guys will figure those things out. Tag will be supplied with what he needs with the increase, hopefully. And the allocation of the new money, as long as it's spent properly, I think things can be done differently and more effectively.
We bid most of our road jobs out, so like, say you were up on the board, that type of experience could help out greatly, because if you saw something, I mean, that a particular company that is doing the job is bid out for and wasn't doing it properly, I mean, that kind of experience could come into play. So, and stormwater is a huge issue for them.
Absolutely, and we mentioned about the water running off down to the Chesapeake Bay. I mean, it starts in upper New York and runs all the way through Pennsylvania to get to Chesapeake. So there's a lot of things that we have to think about that we can do. And yes, as far as subbing and checking guys out and making sure they're doing it right, yeah, I think I could help in that capacity.
Sure, thank you.
thanks, Andy.
All right.
Any questions or comments from the public for this candidate?
What's that?
Okay. All right. Thank you to all the candidates who came out tonight. We appreciate your candor and coming out in the snow. Mr. Scott?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we heard 6 candidates here tonight. I'd just like to say it's a shame we only have 1 seat to be filled, but to those other 5 candidates, I certainly hope you consider putting your name in for the upcoming election for 2016. Put your names out there for what we heard here tonight. We can speak to who we feel would be a good candidate to fill the next seats that are coming forward. Now, my question to you, Mr. Chairman, tonight we had 6. Is this the closing, or is somebody going to be able to come in tomorrow morning or up until the last minute before your meeting, put their application in, and we, the public, and I do thank the Board of Supervisors for granting this meeting here tonight, that we, the public, had an opportunity to come here. But are you going to, and I'm not saying sneak in, but if someone comes to you and says, I want to be a supervisor, are you going to say no, the case is closed, you had your opportunity, or are you going to take them and have another meeting that they would have the same opportunity as what these 6 here have tonight? That is a big question here tonight. I'm not saying that it's been done, but I have been around the county enough to know that things can sneak in the back door that nobody knows anything about until it's voted upon. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We, Mike, we have until the next meeting to comply by the 30 days, is that correct?
That's correct, yep.
So Ron, in my thoughts, we do have another candidate that has their application in that's not here tonight, so there is an additional one there. And
But it is in your
can we
hands.
say the name?
Yeah,
It's Jim Sisk. Jim Sisk has an application in for this. In regards to my reply to that, if anyone new came forward and we were making our decision at the next meeting, I would entertain them being able to pitch at the next meeting there before the public, before the vote is made to see who we're selecting. I would think that would be fair. Maybe there's someone that couldn't make it or didn't hear of it yet, Ron, so nothing would be snuck by anyone. But I would definitely, if someone new came before this application process, I would want them at the next meeting, which is the next public meeting, to be able to give their speech or ask the same questions and before a decision is made.
Yeah.
Which, like, they could do, correct? They could, yes. Anybody, I mean, in an extreme, circumstance, say that we voted on say there's 10 candidates total, between now and then, if we did not select a candidate, up until that point, even after the next meeting, up until there's 30 days, somebody could emerge that could be appointed, correct?
Yeah,
Like, say we have the meeting on the 23rd, the 26th is the last day, the
25th.
25th. Somebody could come the 24th, who's out of the blue, 11th candidate, and.
We would,
What
well,
we're saying is
but
that they
you
would
have
have
to,
to
has to
come.
be a public interview.
Yeah, he would come.
Well, it has to be a public interview for, any interview has to be a public interview if there's a quorum of the board, right?
That's correct.
But if somebody came before the board the next meeting and just said, I want to be supervisor, we conceivably could vote on that without having a public interview. I'm not saying that that's what I